What's good, people? It's Joshua from Joshua Chubb Photography, back again with another video. And today you can see I'm not in the office. I am at Savannah Rapids here in Augusta. We got the dam just over my shoulder. No clouds out here in the sky. Well, some over here y'all can't really see. And I guess it's a little bit back there, but not really a cloud in the sky. Really super beautiful day. It's a little bit chilly. It was chilly until I'm standing here in the sun. I do this for y'all because I could have stood over there in the shade, but you don't get this view. So I'm gonna just sit here and cook for a second. But yeah, so back again with another video. This is video number 2 of the series that I'm doing about the Canon R6 versus the Fujifilm, really the XT3 and the XS10. I put it head to head for versus the XT3 for photos and then versus the XS10 for video. Just since the XS10 has the IBIS and the flip screen, it just made it a lot easier to try to shoot it that way. So with this video, I have 5 image samples that I'm going to be throwing up on the screen from a portrait session that I did, and I was just comparing them side by side. So this was the R6 with the 50mm f1.8 versus the XT3 with the 35mm 1.4. With the 35mm 1.4, it is a 53mm equivalent. So I tried to, keep the framing consistent, as I was going through the shoot. So not exactly super scientific where, had it on a tripod and adjusted between every single shot. Not what I did. My main goal was to see the difference in not only the colors, but can I tell a difference from a full frame camera to a crop sensor camera? And to be fair, no, I didn't do this on like the 50mm 1.2 or the 85mm 1.2 from Canon. I know that those lenses are going to provide better image quality than like the 50mm 1.8 and like the 35mm 1.8. But if I'm looking at it for myself, if I was to invest into the RF system, I'm not going to spend $2,500 on a body of the R6 and then buy a lens that's like $3,000. I'm not going to buy a lens that costs more than the body. In my opinion, for what I do, it's a little bit overkill. So I was going into it as if, hey, this is the gear that I would actually use, because it's not like I broke out like the 200mm f2 for the Fuji or the 50mm 1.0. So I just wanted to be with gear that I use, and hopefully this video is helpful to someone who's again trying to make that decision. As I told y'all in the last video, I did already say that I was not switching over, so I no longer have the Canon at the time of recording this video. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into the image samples, and just let the image samples speak for themselves. I'm not going to go through the whole blind test and say, oh, write down what what photo you think is the Canon and which one you think is the Fuji. I'm just going to tell you straight out which image belongs to what camera. That way, you can make the decision for yourself, which one you like better. You'll know in your heart and your mind which one you like better. So I'm not going to go through that whole thing. I'm not knocking people that do that, but it's just not what I plan to do for this video. So enough talking, let's go ahead and get right into the image samples. Alright guys, so this image here is actually not one of the 5 images that I want to show you. But I just wanted to pop in real quick. I did a poll on Facebook, and I did the poll in 2 separate groups, one a Canon group and the other a Fuji group, and just put the photos in side by side. I did state what camera and lens shot each photo, and I asked people to give their opinion on which image they like better as far as the colors went, and also if they could even tell which camera took which image. And in my research in the Canon group, 11 people stated that they liked the Fuji files better compared to 3 people who liked the Canon files better. And there were some people who correctly guessed which file was which, and some people incorrectly guessed as well. You can tell, probably not on YouTube due to the compression, but I can tell that the Canon file, it actually is a little bit more detailed compared to the Fuji, but just my preference for the colors, I'm leaning toward the Fuji. And then in the Fuji group, 6 people stated that they liked the image that was the Fuji better compared to 1 person who liked the Canon. And again, there's not really a wrong answer here. I don't want to give the impression that one is better than the other. Colors are completely subjective, so just throwing that out there. But for the images that you're going to see here coming up on this shoot, I shot in aperture priority, and I just had the aperture set at the lowest aperture for each camera. So the Canon had the 50mm at 1.8, and the Fuji had the 35mm at 1.4. So aperture priority mode. I did set the ISO to the lowest setting for each camera, which would have been 100 on the Canon, 160 on the Fuji. And so I also put it in auto white balance, and auto white balance is how I normally shoot, since I always edit raw photos. If I ever need to tweak the white balance, I could always do it in post. So I just wanted to really just control the aperture and let the cameras do their thing in determining how to expose for the photo. And so you'll see actually in the next video, the white balance scale, the Kelvin scale, is not the same. In the next video, you'll end up seeing the differences. So even if I would have set, for example, both cameras to 4500 Kelvin, the images still would have come out different as far as the warmth goes. So anyway, we're going to get into the photos. Again, the first set of photos that you'll see will be the unedited versions. The second photo will be kind of tweaked to my liking, and then the third image will end up being just the regular photo with a preset applied, and no other adjustments other than that preset. So I'm going to go ahead and start rolling those photos now, and yeah, just take a look at them and see what you like best or whatever. Again, Canon is going to be on the left and the Fuji is going to be on the right. All right, so there you guys have it. You're able to see side-by-side image samples from the Canon R6 versus the Fujifilm XT3. Let me know in the comments what colors you preferred. Did you like the presets that I chose to use? Can you tell a difference between the full frame look versus a crop sensor camera? So yeah, let's maybe talk about it. And the next video is going to be the video sample head-to-head comparison with the XS10 versus the R6. So yeah, I'll see you guys down in the comments. Until next time, peace.